This review covers the legendary 1968 Corvette L-88. It's a 125 scale kit from Revell, number 7159. And this kit was released in '88 and features the rare 427 cubic inch L-88 option, which was only available from '67 to '69. It was factory rated at 450 horsepower, but it was easily actually over 500. Now, they were not available with air conditioning, a heater, or a radio. There was simply no room for those distractions in this beast. Now, they did have some mandatory options like a heavy-duty suspension, transmission, and this was done by Chevy to discourage street use. Now, they're pretty a rugged ride and a real road feel. There were a couple of authenticity errors in this kit, which I'll point out as we go along and show you those trouble areas. It goes together pretty well, straightforward, and it's not too difficult for the intermediate builder, but I wouldn't recommend this kit for an inexperienced builder, and we'll show you why if you follow along in the review. It's a single-purpose kit, but it does have some nice optional parts that allow you to build it as a convertible or have a hard up top or even as a soft top. There's 97 parts molded in red, chrome, clear, and clear red. And the tires are solid vinyl with sidewall script and nice tread. And the kit has those two options, which gives you a lot of flexibility. And when you're done, the kit measures 7.5 inches long, 2 inches high, and 2 3/4 inches wide. Here are the contents of the kit. And of course, the molding technology of the time shows its age. There are, a little bit larger sprues than you'd expect. There's some ejector pin marks that you'll have to take care of. But this was molded in 1988, so the molds were really crisp and clear. The windows are a little thicker than you'll see on newer kits, but all in all, it goes together pretty well. You see the nice vinyl tires are in there, and I don't think you'll have any real big issues except for some of the things that we'll mention. Grab these parts out for the engine. As you see, they've been detailed already. You've got some chrome valve covers, an aluminum transmission, and the Chevy engine orange block. Aluminum for the manifold. The exhausts, of course, are steel color. A gold tone Rochester carb there. And, of course, you've got a gloss black air cleaner starter, which is a two-tone. And, of course, the fan, which is a semi-gloss black, and the belts are flat black. Here's a side view from the right there of the completed engine. It goes together pretty well, and as you can see, you want to keep the fan belts, in line with the front of the engine block there. And those pieces all go together pretty well. If you have any questions, by the way, the full instructions are at the end of the review for a little more clarification if you need to see that. But as you can see, the engine is a model all by itself. It's a real head turner, so you're going to want to finish this one off and do a nice job with it, and we'll drop that into the engine bay later. You may have noticed I put an ignition coil here. I made an ignition coil out of some rod stock, and I glued it there to the top of the manifold. You see the white arrow points to that. It's just for a little more, authenticity to the motor. Okay, now you see here we're going to work at the back end. The differential is in two pieces, so you'll paint the center piece there, gunmetal and the axle. And I painted the shocks a flat black. The trailing arms attached to the axle there are gloss black. And then we'll go ahead and assemble those and stage that for assembly onto the chassis. So the frame was painted gloss black, and we're going to add the rear end assembly there. You just put those into the locating posts and receivers where it goes. And also on the frame, you notice there's some flat black areas too for a little interest in those areas. And now we're going to paint the front end and the A-arms there a gloss black, and the two floor halves of the coil springs, they're painted flat black, and of course each pair goes together, so you can glue those together now too. So go ahead and glue the coil springs into place, and then glue the arms there, the lower A arms into position over the top of those. And remember, you got to scrape the paint off for a glue to stick. And we're going to be adding the stabilizer bar there, which is an aluminum color. And so the position of the sway bar is a little tricky, and that's one of the things that adds to some of the complexity of the build. It kind of, rests in the main frame and then up onto, the stabilizers on the A-arms there. So that's how that's installed. So if you have in mind building, this model, more like the original real car, we've got some authenticity issues to tell you about. This kit does not include a rear sway bar, which all the big block Corvettes had, so I just bent one into shape from a paper clip and added it to the rear suspension with a little bit of super glue. Now, online Corvette part dealers will show you sway bar kits so you can see what they look like and how they're formed, etc. And you can just use a paper clip, a large one, and you can use the front sway bar from the kit to scale the rear bar, and then go ahead and just install that for a more complete and accurate looking model. And here we'll show you the radiator that comes up next. The surround is a flat black and the radiator itself is a gloss black, but also note that there's no fan shroud here. Now, to be sure, GM did not mean these to be street machines, so you'd have to add a fan shroud from your parts box if so desired. So the radiator gets mounted into the front of the frame there, and note that it's got about a 15-degree tilt towards the back, so it goes on the notches on the sides of the frame there, and just make sure that it has a little bit of that angle. Grab the parts you see here, the cross member and the exhaust. Of course, they're a steel-colored exhaust and the semi-gloss black on the cross member. So when that's dry, locate the posts at the back near the mufflers, and those will be glued into some receiving holes back there on each side of the gas tank. So lay the exhaust pipes in there, and we'll match up the exhaust to those exhaust pipes later. In the meantime, place the center cross member there over the top of the exhaust pipes. Up at the top of the photo here, you see the steering box, and that attaches to the side of the frame about where that red spot is. And you paint the box gloss black, and of course you've got a gunmetal shaft there. It's time to install the engine, and what you're going to do is locate the motor mounts where it's placed, and then the bosses on the motor, and scrape the paint off where you're going to glue those together with some strong glue. Now at the back end we've got the drive shaft, which is painted gunmetal, and you've also got a little radiator hose here that's a flat black. Now I'll go ahead and install the drive shaft into the differential in the back, and then as you are placing the engine into position on its mounts, you'll install that forward portion into the transmission of the drive shaft. So make sure that it's seated fully and it's nice and square to the frame. And then we'll add the lower radiator hose into place. Now it's time to scrape the paint off of the top of the coil springs there. You see they're kind of reddish. We're going to add the upper A-arms there. So they get mounted on top of that. You can glue them in place along with a couple of mounting points on the fender well there. Well, the wheels assemblies are going together next, and the tires are really nice, but unfortunately the sidewall script design is not correct for the 68. You would have to source something that kind of aligns to internet information about that. But we're going to put these together as they're still a nice look. Now the detailing is for the silver with for the wheel, and then the face of the wheel, and then the hubcap and trim ring are left chrome. Now the sides of the hubcaps then are painted black, with the flutes being left in chrome as well. The wheels are assembled, and now it's time to just pop those onto the spindles. And the instructions have you not using any glue there. They're actually a press fit and a expansion joint. So you can go ahead and do that, or if you don't want your tires and wheels to turn, you'll have to put a little dab of glue there as you insert them onto the spindles. Time to detail that interior. The side panels are separate, so it makes detailing some of the chrome trim easy with a little chrome pen and the door handles, etc. Also on the console, same thing. So now you can go ahead and assemble the interior with the door panels. And I had printed some gauges that I found online out on some paper and glued those into position for the dashboard, and along with some of that chrome pen highlighting for that too. Now we'll look at the seats, and for 1968, headrests were an option for the Corvette, so they're supplied separately, but I declined to use them. I kept them off. So I painted the seats with some semi-gloss black, and you can go ahead and assemble the front seats and backs and install those into the interior along with the dashboard. On the hood, the emblem that's there, the L-88, that's incorrect. So I scraped that off, sanded it smooth, removed those from the body of the car. Now it's time to prepare the body, and it's got the usual parting lines on the body, on the tops of the fender ridges and down the front and the back of the fascia, along with a couple of cuts there where the upper portions of the doors. So you'll want to clean those up nicely before you paint. So here you see the hood after it was, the emblems were removed and was painted with body color, which for me, I used One Shot brand 101L. It's a white, kind of an off-white, like Arctic white, along with the intake plenum there that only came on the L-88. So we'll assemble those two pieces for the hood assembly. Here's another authenticity tip. Shown here on the underside of the front fenders, the rear vent on the 68 Corvettes weren't open, so I used some black tape to fill the ones on this model. Detail the taillight lenses and the bezels with some chrome trim that you can use to highlight those, and then place the taillights into the bezels for assembly. Locate the taillight assembly from the inside of the back panel there. And also note the exhaust ports, that panel that is there. There's, of course, an opening, and that's correct. Don't fill that in. That's a split there just above the final exhaust tips coming out of the body. Now you can add the bumperettes there carefully. Scrape that chrome off where you use your glue, and add your license plate as well. So this is a little tricky. You're going to put the hood in place to retain the hood hinges by installing the inner front fenders. Just make sure that you scrape the paint off, and make sure that you mount the inner fenders here flush so that they sit properly in the body. Next, we'll add the rocker panel moldings. Now they're found on the chrome tree, but unlike the box art, these should be painted flat black, leaving just the chrome trim at the very top of it. In 68, the moldings were fiberglass, not aluminum, like latter year Corvettes. Now get these parts out to assemble the firewall. And as you see here, the firewall itself is a semi-gloss or flat black, and the brake boosters gloss black. Now the master cylinder is two tones. It's got a gold top and a silver or aluminum colored body. And then you've got the wiper canister that goes in on the left. Then you're going to turn the body over and install this after you've assembled the accessory pieces right to the lower portion of the body there. Now it's time to go ahead and install the front bumper. The grille and the rocker moldings should be dry. So put those in place now. And we're going to do a little more detailing. You see some of the detailing on the body here. The windshield frame, of course, with your chrome pen and some of the trim along the doors, etc. Also, we're going to add the windshield. To the windshield, we're going to put the rear view mirror into place along with the sun visors there. Well, you see here the completed body along with the rear view mirror, or I should say side view mirror on the door, and the hood hinged in front, which was kind of rare for cars back in the 60s. And so at this point, your model is finished. Okay, now it's time to choose the top of your choice, and go ahead and either use the regular convertible top, or just leave it as a convertible, or you can add the hard top, and which I chose to do here. Now, another authenticity tip: the only color for the vinyl covered hard tops in '68 was black. So I used some tape to simulate the fixed, the texture of the hard tops, and painted it black, along with a little bit of trim. So there you have it. If I were you, I'd buy one and put it on my shelf.
Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet.
This review is brought to you in part by Ryder's Hobby Shops, where the fun begins. Stop in to one of Ryder's 2 convenient Michigan locations, where you'll find a full range of the latest hobby products, supplies, parts, tools, and paint. You'll find aisles and aisles of scale model kits, RC models, model rockets, Warhammer gaming, and railroading products. Stop in at Ryder's today and tell them Doug sent you.